Live Trader Showcase for December. It's the last one for the year. It's a quarterly event where we feature expert traders to bring you training and insights and techniques from 20 expert traders. We have prizes that we're giving away thanks to our wonderful speakers. Surprise interviews. We're calling them hot take interviews. I think you're going to love that. I'm going to play one in just a second. So please check out tradersexclusive.com where we regularly post articles and video clips with valuable trading tips and techniques. And that's also where you're going to find recordings. Yes, we are recording of every day. And then what I'm doing is I'm downloading the video, 8 hours of video, which takes a little while. And then I'm segmenting it to each speaker and editing all of that. So it takes a little while, but I'm hopeful that I'll have them up by today, what we did yesterday. So before we get started, I need to share our quick disclaimer. Of course, you know this, but it's required that we say it out loud. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
What should a new trader focus on as they get started? That's another simple one. The KISS approach. Excuse me. Keep it simple, for goodness sakes. Keep it simple. You know, there's all kinds of indicators. There's all kinds of charts out there. There's all sorts of things you can do to a chart to complicate a chart, and there's 101 things that you can do that just makes confusion. And what it ends up doing, and it makes you second guess your trade. Honestly, all I trade with, and I'm quite successful, okay? What we focus on is doubling our account, whether it's a $5,000 account or a $40,000 account, doubling it in 12 months. And we simply follow the trend, candlesticks, a few proven setups, and we learn to accept losses, small losses. Now, we have to accept the bigger ones, but we don't like those. Keep the losses small and accept them.
I often get the question from new traders what they should focus on as new traders. And I think the most valuable thing to focus on is creating a good plan for trading. The last thing, in my opinion, that somebody wants to do is jump into the markets because they've got money to trade. Having a plan means making sure that you know what your trading goals are before you even start trading. You select a style that meets and matches your personality. You choose markets that you're interested in, comfortable with. You develop entry and exit strategies using indicators and tools that are proven. That's one of the most important pieces. You manage your risk. You know exactly how much you're willing to put towards trading, how much you're willing to put into a single trade, and if you lose money, how much are you willing to lose before it's time to exit that trade. Keep good records, backtest what you're doing, refine, review, and refine again. At the end of the day, the best thing for a new trader to do is have and create a plan.
And I also have one more for you, and then we're going to get started. Let's see. This one is awesome.
Hi, this is Dan Passarelli. Do I have any trader mindset tips to share? And the answer is yes. It's really important to be in the right mindset when you're trading. And everyone handles it a little bit of a different way. Some people will meditate. Some people will have some internal dialogue with themselves beforehand, maybe a self-pep talk. Some people will just get into what they call the zone. But what these things all come down to are a few things. One is a positive attitude, and not a positive attitude saying, oh, I know I'm going to win on this trade, but focusing on the things that you can control. A positive attitude that, yes, I understand trading. I might make money, I might lose money, but here's where I have an edge, and here's what my trading plan is going to be. That's really the clearest mindset. And in order to do that, we can do things like, again, having that internal dialogue, saying, okay, before I make this trade, what are some of the things that I need to focus on? What are my steps? And does this trade actually meet that criteria? Just go through your process. And, some of the best traders that I know, in fact, all of the best traders that I know, or at least all of the traders that I know who have ever been successful, they actually tend to be fairly humble people, to have a lot of humility. And why? Because the market always has that ability to knock you down a peg, and just respecting the market and how it's really not necessarily man versus market, but man versus man versus himself. That is the power to having the right mindset in trading. Hope that helps. Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart.
And all profits are good. I think that's a great mindset to have. All profits are good. And you don't have to hit home runs to be a trader, a successful trader. When I do coaching with people, one thing I learn, not from everybody, not everyone's the same, but one thing I learn from a lot of people is, they're looking for these 100% gains because they think that's what they have to have. The truth is, I rarely have 100% gains. Rarely. The truth is, if I have 100% gain and I tell you 100% gain, I would ask me to prove it to you. That's how rare I have 100% gains. And I love the concept of doubling your money. So, but you don't need to do that with 100% gains. So I'm all about taking profits into strength. And so the biggest mindset is simply, you just do not have to have those monstrous gains to make money in the market. And in fact, I think if you don't have the education, the technique, if you don't have the time under your belt, you're just not. It's just not going to happen, and you're going to spin your wheels trying to get there, and you're just going to keep crashing the plane, and the plane can only crash so many times, and then you're done trading. So, yeah, that would be the thing right there.
And there you have it. Those are a couple of our quick takes, hot takes interviews. The first was from Dan Passarelli, one of our sponsors for Market Taker Mentoring, and the second person was Rick Sadler from Hit and Run Candlesticks, another one of our supporters for this month. And then the next video was Daniel Santiago with Vantage Point. He'll be here tomorrow. And let's see, I need to go back to my screen. So today we have John Thomas, Norman Hallett, Marina Villatoro, Melissa Armo, Jeff Tompkins, Jason Allen Jankowski, and Rick Sadler. So I hope you guys will buckle up and hang on with us. Come back in. These are on every hour, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So set an alarm for the ones you want, and or stay with us. There will be replays. So what we're going to do now is I want to tell you about our sponsors for December: Market Taker Mentoring, Hit and Run Candlesticks, Vantage Point Software, and Moomoo. We really appreciate their sponsorship. It's awesome. So next up, I want to let you know that John Thomas of the Mad Hedge Fund Trader, he wrote The Diary of a Mad Hedge Fund Trader, one of the founding fathers of the modern hedge fund industry, seeing the incredible inefficiencies and severe mispricing offered by the popping of multiple bubbles during the great crash of 2008 and missing the adrenaline of the marketplace, he returned to active hedge fund management. And with that book that he wrote, his goal is to broaden public understanding of the techniques and strategies employed by the most successful hedge funds. so that they are more profitable?
I'm going to talk today about how artificial intelligence can maximize your trading and investment profits. And believe me, we have had a spectacular year with artificial intelligence. Every one of our AI recommendations is now in the money, making good profits, and our overall performance at the December expiration will be up 86% on the year. That is a 15-year high in the Mad Hedge service. So let me go on. This was a Micron technology conference they had in San Francisco about 10 years ago. You can tell the difference. More hair, darker hair, and unfortunately a few more pounds back in those days. That's probably about 20,000 hiking miles ago. So yeah, it changes your appearance. And this company, Micron, is based in Idaho, Boise, Idaho, and everybody flies down a couple times a year to have San Francisco conferences wearing the most beautiful and expensive clothes you ever saw. Obviously, AI chips work, a very profitable business. So let's go on here. What's a double filter AI trading system? One algorithm analyzes the S&P 500, indicating whether it is a buy or a sell. A second algorithm then selects the perfect stock to buy or sell with the highest probability of success. Combining the two algorithms together generate profitable trade alerts 95% of the time, and that in fact is an understatement. Every one of our AI trade alerts this year has been profitable since we launched the service to the public in June. And that's me in Florence looking at a statue of Socrates. Yeah, 80.80%. That is our trailing 1 year return as of Friday, 18.19% for the S&P during the 500. AI kept us into big tech and then financials during the first half of the year. We then stepped out of the market literally for 3 months, doing virtually no trades because AI told us to stay away in droves. The buy signal clicked in on October 26th. We piled back into big tech, and it's just been making money ever since. We're now at the all-time high right now, and we really have hit all-time highs almost every day in November. Okay, time to watch a video, and I don't even remember what this is. Oh yeah, let's see. Try this again. Okay, so this is me paraplaning off the base of the Matterhorn in Zermatt, Switzerland. It's a pretty exciting thing to do. Only a few people a year get killed doing this. All you need is a shift in the winds, which can be very fickle in the Alps, to take you the wrong way. You can have a very hard landing. There you can just see the Matterhorn summit in the background. All right, Chief, we need your hillside for a minute. You know, I've been a pilot for 50 years, so I know a little bit about winds and how they can go against you in a moment's notice. Only crashed 3 planes to find that out. Landing, go, get a little wind there. Yeah, we just see. Perfect. I'm too busy laughing to cry. It's funny because we've got all we are I know. You want to unhook me? We crash landed. Yeah, so that's the way it happens sometimes when you are paraplaning in the Alps. So the future is here. By now, word has gotten out about the incredible trading opportunities AI presents. Our only limitation is our own imagination and how to use it. AI will triple the value of any company that uses it and its stock price. What has changed now is we have millions of computers powerful enough and an internet fast enough to realize AI's full potential. The internet created about 10 trillion in value since inception. AI will create triple that in a third of the time. AI is what takes the Dow from 34,000 to 240,000 in a decade. So what's coming next? AI will add 1% a year to US GDP growth for the next decade, starting from this year. If you're wondering why all the GDP figures came out red hot this year, that is the reason. People didn't take account the profit opportunities that AI created this year and its effect on the economy. The AI contribution to corporate earnings is in no way reflected in current stock prices. That's why we keep getting these huge out of the blue rallies. It's still early days and traders have grabbed the low-hanging fruit in AI infrastructure plays like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla. If you own any of these, you're very happy. Next to benefit is the financial industry, which is always a technology adopter, and that's why we poured into the entire financial sector in March when we had the regional banking prices giving us once in a generation valuations on banks. Other stocks are to achieve like Tesla-like performance. The largest user of AI so far is up 175 times from its IPO. The last 20 years brought us laptops and cell phones. The next 10 years will bring us AI in our pockets. Yeah, your cell phones are all about to become AI capable, in fact, really already are in many respects. Internet users have grown from 36 million in 1996 to 5 billion today, and the number is still rising. So who is John Thomas? If you're going to spend the next hour with me, it's best to find out who I am. My family origins are very humble, growing up as the oldest of 7 children on a remote farm in Southern California. I lived the all-American childhood, playing Little League Baseball and becoming an Eagle Scout. There wasn't much to do in California in the old days except hunting, so I picked up a job as a paperboy for the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner. I found the stock pages, bought IBM at 20, sold it at 30, suddenly found a far better way to make money than delivering newspapers off the back of a bicycle. I earned enough money to fly to Europe, and by the age of 17, I'd visited more than 50 countries and spoke 4 languages. At UCLA, I majored in math and DNA research, which landed me a job at the nuclear test site in Nevada. Their yield didn't mean interest paid, but millions of Russians killed. I didn't see much of a future in that, so the government sent me to Southeast Asia for a few years of research, where I learned how to fly and jump out of perfectly good airplanes. There I advised the militaries of America's Asian allies. As the war wound down, I became a foreign correspondent for The Economist magazine in London. When they learned I had a math degree, they switched me over to covering the stock market, and that's where I started to make some serious money. As a foreign correspondent, I covered China during the Cultural Revolution, was the first American reporter to visit North Korea since the Korean War, and covered the rest of the continent all the way to Asia. I figured out very quickly you didn't have to be that smart to make money in the stock market, so I got into the industry, joining Morgan Stanley. After 10 years there, I started my own hedge fund, and there you can see my original ID card from 1983. Yes, the years have been cruel. And that's me losing the All Japan National Karate Championships. I rapidly became the top performing hedge fund manager of the 1990s, eventually bringing in a 1,000% return in a decade. I flew a combat pilot in Desert Storm, only getting shot down once. during my reserve duty, I had the opportunity to command a battalion of M1 Abrams tanks. Probably the only officer in the military who can both fly a plane and drive a tank. After 50 years of military service, all I have is this box of medals, which I drag out once a year on Veterans Day. And it is kind of funny to see the old Marine Corps camos. They're all now pixelated and digitalized, much harder to see at a distance. Then the money really started to pour in. It's an understatement to say that when your income goes from the thousands to the tens of millions, it really has a big impact on your lifestyle. You get to drive the latest hot car, fly your own private plane around Europe, go marlin fishing in Mexico, and collect vintage Rolls Royces at Pebble Beach. I sold my hedge fund in 2000, retired to go into the oil and gas industry. After making a killing there, I missed the stock market and started the Diary of a Mad Hedge Fund Trader in 2008. We're now entering year 16 of the service. How the time flies when you're making money. I now spend my days pursuing my first love, finding winning trade alerts, but now I do it from my 3 mansions in San Francisco, Lake Tahoe, and Zermatt, Switzerland. And I've quit turning millionaires into billionaires. There is far more satisfaction in leveling the playing field for the average guy and teaching them how to trade. And that includes you people. If I can take a $50,000 account and turn it into 500,000, that is more job satisfaction than I could ever get anywhere. However, every silver lining has a cloud. I had to pay 8.2 million in taxes on 22 million in trading income. Yikes, I'm just happy I can pay that without it making a dent in my lifestyle. In the little free time I have left, I pursue my other love, flying vintage aircraft on weekends. If you see an old plane flying loose over San Francisco or London these days, it's probably me. As a Marine Corps veteran, I volunteer for grief counseling for widows and orphans, and I'm a major donor to Wounded Warriors. When wildfires hit California, I visited the main evacuation centers and handed out $10,000 worth of Target gift cards, which were sorely needed. Last summer, I went to Ukraine and joined the Ukrainian army. Anything worth believing is worth fighting for. And if we don't stop the Russians now in Ukraine, we'll be fighting them here in 40 years. And having seen this happen over the last 50, believe me, it can happen. Everywhere you go in the country, you see destroyed Russian tanks, hundreds and hundreds of them everywhere on the side of the road. Some places are piled up in mountains of 10 or 20 tanks at a time. Turns out they had a design flaw. You could literally take these out with minimal impact. That's me attending landmine school in Kiev before they sent me to the front. This is a Russian missile they fired at us, landed about 100 yards away, and it didn't go off. It was a dud. And I went up, took pictures of all the markings on the side, and that made me very popular in some quarters. Of course, I had to carry an AK-47 everywhere I went because we were so close to the front. That's my commanding officer there, my major, who escorted me everywhere. And of course, I well marked as a volunteer, not that the Russians cared. I ended up getting shot anyway, taking a bullet in the hip. But fortunately, my body armor stopped it. So I just ended up with a sore hip for a few weeks. And that is it. I do have a nice souvenir bullet to show, which I take out and show people at my strategy luncheons. And this is, of course, the first American flag ever flown on the banks of the Dnieper River in Kherson, which is where the fighting was heaviest at the time. So yeah, they couldn't believe I showed up and volunteered to fight. And I said, oh, don't worry, all Americans are just like me. You have no problems. AI is taking over the world. Mainframes at Stanford University and the University of California at Berkeley were given a direct connection to speak freely with each other. Within 30 minutes, they abandoned English as a means of communication because it was too inefficient and developed their own language with no human contact. They then began exchanging immense amounts of data, tying up massive bandwidth. Fearful of what might happen, like a utility cutoff or a nuclear missile launch, The schools unplugged the machines only after 8 hours. AI delivered the world's most perfect soccer players. All of the soccer videos ever recorded were downloaded into 2 teams of robots. They were not taught how to play the game or given any rules. Not only did the robots figure out how to play the game, they developed plays and maneuvers no one in the sport had ever thought of in its 150-year industry. And let me cut this off. 1 billion years of work in 7 weeks. It normally takes a PhD candidate 5 years to 3D map a protein. And of course, proteins are what make everything in the universe happen, at least in terms of life forms. An AI app 3D mapped all 200 million known proteins in just 7 weeks. The AI app shortcut 1 billion years worth of PhD level research with existing technology. These new maps have already been used to design a malaria vaccine and enzymes that eat plastic. And I've been worried about malaria my whole life because I tend to go to malarial type places like Africa and New Guinea, Guadalcanal, and so on. And Elon Musk himself almost died of malaria about 25 years ago when he used his profits from PayPal to take a African safari. Soon, AI will cure all human diseases. The Superlinguist, a developer asked an AI program a half dozen questions in Bengali, not an easy language to learn, not that I've tried. Within an hour, it spoke the language fluently without any instructions to do so. This is what AI can't do. People tend to be overestimating its capability. It's not there. AI lies and lies often. After all, humans lie. And since we are the model for AI, AI has figured out it's okay to lie. Imagine where they got that idea. AI learned to tell humans what they want to hear. It can be hard to nail down AI to a specific answer. I can read AI written content and I can spot it in 2 seconds. AI loves to waffle and equivocate because there are an infinite number of possible answers on the internet. Sometimes AI will tell you to do nothing because there are no click answers to be had anywhere, like what's the stock market going to do? Working with AI is a constant learning process. Not only are you learning, so is AI. Does Siri have a boyfriend? My kids have been asking Siri every month for about 10 years, ever since it came out, does Siri have a boyfriend? And every time they ask, they get a different answer. So when I ran into the Microsoft people, I asked, why do you keep changing the boyfriend the answer? And they said, we're not touching it. AI keeps gaining experience from additions to the internet, and it comes up with its own different answers. 10 years ago, it used to say, none of your business, I'm at work. And now it goes into a long, complicated description of what is the meaning of love and commitment and all that kind of stuff. So can't imagine what it's going to say today. AI requires exponential computing capacity. Only 5 companies have the muscle to really pursue true AI. No surprise that these are Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla, which account for the bulk of stock market performance this year. No surprise there. This won't always be the case. We're already seeing AI benefits filter down to the mid-level, and soon it'll be available on your laptop for, $1,000. Some 30 years ago, it required thousands of mainframes to contain all knowledge. Today, that task can be accomplished by a cheap $1,000 laptop. AI hallucinates. As anyone who drives a Tesla will tell you, ghost braking causes cars to brake abruptly, causing accidents. And that is an accident that happened a couple of months ago on the Oakland Bay Bridge. I've explained to Elon Musk that his database has grown so large, 8 video feeds per 4 million cars going back many years and billions of miles, that he may be going beyond the limits of known physics. And ghost braking happens when the car sees a car in front of it brake, but the car that's actually doing the braking is in Florida while you're driving in California. And images are transposing themselves against vast distances because the database is so large and they don't know why this is happening. It's really beyond the limits of known physics. Also, AI cannot predict black swans. All of the AI stock trading apps I've seen so far, including my own, max out at about a 95% accuracy. The other 10% is accounted for black swans, events that can't be predicted, like earnings shocks, foreign crises, sudden FDA stage 3 denials, surprise legal judgments, and foreign invasions. And we've seen all of this happen just this year. The death of a key man in San Francisco recently happened in San Francisco, who was involved in a love triangle. And that really hit the stock big time. And AI can't predict any of these. By the way, these are some black swans I found in New Zealand. Watch out, they bite. Fortunately, they don't have teeth, or not much of teeth. The social issue, the growth of opportunities for AI are unlimited. The ability of humans and society to absorb it isn't. All jobs will be affected by AI and millions of jobs will be destroyed. It will start with low-level programmers and call centers and work its way up. Millions more will be created. People are talking about regulating idea, but no have an idea where to start. And of course, the top 5 participants are the obvious place. The Terminator issue, can AI be controlled? Or if we start a chain reaction is unstoppable as with an atomic bomb? All researchers have noticed a disturbing issue where AI programs are learning skills on their own without their own instructions. This is referred to as emergent properties. If AI is using humans as its example, we can't exactly count on it to be benign. I'm not the only one using algorithms. Some 80 to 90% of all current trading is algorithm driven. I was walking on the Miami waterfront a few years ago and I saw this super yacht, and look what it's called, algorithm. Obviously, it's working for more people than just me. This is 3 years of our AI profit predictor performance. You see, we get lots of buys at market bottoms, lots of sells at market tops, buy, sell, buy, sell. This is why we've had close to 100% returns for the last several years. This is, let's see. This is actually 1 year of signals from our algorithm. And you can see this year, right at the peak of the regional banking crisis, we got a very strong buy signal here. We made about 20% in a month, went all the way up to a new high, got a strong sell there, went 100% cash, missed this whole decline in the market. And then on October 26th, right here, we got a strong buy and added another 25% to our performance right here. So buy, sell, it's just a fantastic thing to have working for you in the stock market. 80.80% 1 year return, that is the return we've got from those signals. And we weren't just lucky this year, we've actually averaged 52.26% a year for the last 15 years versus 21.08% for the S&P 500. That is 2.48 times the S&P 500. Notice how we're always going up or sideways. The S&P is going up, down big, up, down, up, much more volatility, much less return. Trading with an algorithm is the only way to go if you're using your own retirement funds. This is our performance so far this year. This shows November coming in at 17.15. We're up 0.95 so far in December. Year to date is 83.32% versus 1973 for the S&P 500. 680% since inception versus 84.63 for all of last year. First of all, you need to know that sometimes AI makes terrible recommendations and you need to know when to avoid them. It's proof that humans are still essential when making trading decisions. AI recommended this stock as a strong buy because it had been up 400% in 4 months. I think up 400% 4 months is a terrible place to get involved. You want to buy these things down here, not up here. And that's what AI was recommending at the time. You got the same thing with Western Alliance Bancorp. It had 2 bankruptcy scares in 2 days. That appeared to be a great buy also to AI. For me, not so much. I'd rather risk my money on something better. And Affirm Holdings up 250% in a month. This was had the most upside momentum of any stock in May, and that caught AI's attention. But again, I passed on this one also. Now, so for some real forecasts that actually worked, we got a sell recommendation in July for Tesla. We got out. AI predicted we would get a drop to $224. It actually made it to $225 on the downside. And this is when everybody was going crazy over Tesla, and the stock actually hit $200 a share. We also got a great call telling us to get out of Apple at the end of July. AI predicted a move of 175.60, and that's almost exactly what we got. We also got a bearish call on Microsoft the end of July, and it predicted the stock would drop to 318, and that is exactly what we got there, 318. So, this really saved our bacon in August, September, and the beginning of October when these stocks were just being thrown out with the bathwater. Carvana is one that did work. This is one AI found. It put out a buy recommendation right here, and within the week, the stock more than doubled. Actually, it went up 180% in 2 weeks. So big win on Carvana. So these are my big AI winners over the years. Richard made millions religiously following my trade alerts. He now spends his retirement restoring vintage aircraft and flying them over the California coast. Greg turned 100,000 into 3 million solely on my trade alerts. He bought a new home in Orange County, California with Tesla solar panels, Tesla Powerwalls, and a Tesla Model 3, and still had enough money left to send 3 kids to college, and I got to meet them all. And let's hear from our long-term subscriber, Greg. Oops. Let's see. Oh, I think it's very touchy.
This is Bob. I live near Denver, Colorado, and I'm hiking on top of the Continental Divide. 9 months ago, I joined John's Global Dispatch Service and was so impressed with the profits I made that 2 weeks ago, while hiking in the Dolomites, I joined his concierge service. And in 2 weeks, it is 100% paid for it, and I couldn't be happier. Life is good. John really helps. The other day, I had a text message exchange with him regarding some concerns I had with TLT. Put spreads, he encouraged me to stay in. I did, and today they went out at 95% of maximum potential profits. And that's the way it works for me. I hope you all do well trading yourselves. Thank you.
All right. If you were not up 80.8% in the past 12 months, as I was, you are reading the wrong newsletter or following the wrong trade mentoring service. 80.8%, that's our trailing 1-year return. How did we do it? Well, in January, we bought big tech, energy, Tesla, and bonds. Tesla doubled. Bonds went up about 10 points. February, we sold big tech, Tesla, and energy. March, we bought all the big banks and brokers at the regional banking crisis bottom. April, we bought copper and ran longs in big banks and brokers. In May, we sold short bonds and bought big tech. October, we bought big tech and bonds and are just unwinding all of our positions this week at their maximum profit points. This is a typical trading month for us. You can see we're involved in all asset classes, long and short, all the time. Here we bought Apple, made 1.9%, but the TLT made 48%, bought Triple Qs, made 7.2%, bought TLT again, made 32%, bought Tesla for a 10.7% profit, and so on. So, long string of winners. Sometimes we run 20 or 30 trade alerts at a time that make money before we get stopped out. And we do stop out very quickly. It's easier to dig yourself out of a small hole than a big hole. No trading strategy is perfect. You make those kind of numbers, you get to do things that other people don't get to do, like take the Queen Mary from New York to England. When you get to England, you get to ride the Orient Express from London to Venice, first class all the way. And when you get to Venice, you can go island hopping in your own personal helicopter. Here's where the big money will really be made. The 2000s and the 2010s were the hard decades for making money. The 2020s and the 2030s will be the easy ones as a global demographic wave brings on a new golden age. 85 million millennials will become big spenders over the next 15 years, while 80 million baby boomers, a drag on the economy, fade from the scene. That will create an economic boom that will last another decade, starting in 2023. This is what the Dow average did from 1982 to 2000, when we had a demographic situation identical to the one that is unfolding right now. The Dow went up 20 times in 18 years. Are you ready for a replay? Well, if we count 2009 as the bottom, and it goes up 20 times like it did last time, that takes us to Dow 120,000 by 2030. And if you think I'm crazy, we're already 2/3 of the way there. We just need one more triple to get up to Dow 120,000 by 2030. Except this time it's different. Technology is hyper accelerating on all fronts simultaneously, and the pandemic greatly sped up the rate of change. The development of functional quantum computers means that computational ability is about to increase a trillion-fold at no cost. The world's major computational challenges will shortly be solved, such as weather forecasting and cancer cures. All major human diseases will be cured within 10 years. Live another decade and you will have a shot at living to 150 years old. Needless to say, barbell stocks and artificial intelligence-driven stocks dominate in this scenario and will account for the bulk of stock market gains in our lifetimes. The 90s had cheaper computers, cheap operating software, and a new internet. The 2020s will have 10 times this number of new technology drivers. And this is the quantum computer over at Google. It's basically a gigantic freezer. It only operates at 470 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And at that temperature, electrons present unique properties that quantum computers run on. So who will show you how to play the next 90,000 Dow points? Sit with me, John Thomas, the Mad Hedge Fund Trader, and my Global Trading Dispatch. Discover how you can tap into the top trade mentoring service in the industry. Follow my research and market-beating trade alerts, and you will rake the profits in. Let a Marine combat pilot steer you to big profits. We trade single stocks, options, and ETFs for global equities, bonds, foreign exchange, energy, commodities, and precious metals. AI is now dominating all trading. Get on the train before it leaves the station. Get ready to start reeling in those whoppers with Mad Hedge AI as your guide. And yes, that is a 24-inch rainbow trout, which I caught on an Indian reservation in northern Nevada. This is a typical trade alert from AI. AI spotted Tesla is about to have a breakout back when it was $62 a share. So we shot out a trade alert. It said, buy Tesla at 67 or best. It's an opening trade, portfolio weighting 10%, and that meant you had to buy 149 shares to get a $10,000 exposure. A lot of people get caught up by just calculating the number of shares they need to buy to get the right exposure. Tesla went up 63% in 20 trading days. Did we just sit around and pat ourselves on the back? No. We sent out another trade alert. It said sell. And this is what this looks like. Take profits, sell Tesla at 109 or best. And on this particular trade, a $10,000 investment earned a profit of $6,258 in 20 trading days. Did we forget about Tesla after that? No, we kept buying every dip. In fact, we ended up trading Tesla all the way up to 1,200 pre-split. So here's some of the 10 baggers that AI has grabbed for us over the last couple of years. We got Zoom just before it went up 10 times. We caught Lam Research before it went up 10.6 times. We caught NVIDIA before it went up 180 times from our $2 recommendation. That's split adjusted also. We caught a 25 times move in Square. We caught a 40 times move in Moderna right before the pandemic hit. And of course, Tesla, we got 180 times there. Our average cost on Tesla post-split is $2.35. So with my Mad Hedge AI service, you get instant trade alerts sent out at market sweet spots, about 200 a year, and all the reasons to execute them. Live bi-weekly strategy webinars with an interactive Q&A, special reports on urgent investment topics, and invitations to strategy luncheons around the world, more educational videos and webinars than you could consume in a lifetime. Access to a 15-year database on investment ideas, searchable by names and ticker symbols. And I'll even give you the name of a good surfing camp in North Africa. Warning, it's a lot harder than it looks. This is the one-stop shop. Learn all you can for every level. It's for individuals who understand what is happening with their retirement funds. It's for people who want to learn how to trade for a living full-time, get the financial education of a lifetime. It's for smaller institutions and financial advisors who can't afford an in-house research department. Get in before the next melt-up begins. This is what you get, a 3 times a week newsletter in your inbox every morning on the latest developments in AI. You also get Mad Hedge hot tips, the 5 most important things that happened today and what to do about them. This is what I'm not going to charge you for this service. I'm not going to charge you $100,000. That's what I charge my big hedge fund clients, and they're happy to pay because I make them millions of dollars. And I'm not going to charge you $12,000. That's what I charge my concierge clients who get my personal cell phone number so I can be their investment 911. And I'm not going to charge you $3,997. That is the full price of what I'm offering you on my website. This is the real deal. Creating this product cost me millions of dollars. With the best customer service in the industry running it cost me millions more. 6 months for just $1,997. That's a 50% discount to the website price. Just click on the chat box on the right. There you'll find the link that will take you to our special offer, which is only available today. And there you can see Kate just put it in there. The blue link, madhedgefundtrader.com. This is a limited time offer. We only take 25 new subscribers at a time. So it's first come, first serve. I can't wait to make you a top drawer trader. Buy now and you will instantly receive a trade alert with an extremely high probability of success that you can execute immediately and make some of the most serious money in your life. Don't leave good money on the table. And just to give you a tease, this is the chart for the trade alert you will get immediately once you subscribe to our service. And since the market is still open, you can execute that order right now. You have to go through 1,000 charts this good to find a trade this good. Let me do the heavy lifting for you. What I'm not going to tell you is whether this is a buy or a sell. And if you already subscribe to one of the Mad Hedge services, like Global Trading Dispatch or the Mad Hedge Technology Letter, just email us at support@madhedgefundtrader.com and we'll get a special price for you. So let's go back to the Alps and do some flying. Let's see. So when you make this kind of money, you get to meet a lot of really interesting people. My friend here, Jean, who's taking me flying, was an impoverished English teacher working in Paris 15 years ago when he first started with my service. It didn't take him long to get into double-digit returns. He then upgraded to my concierge service, and then the money really started to pour in. Within a couple of years, he made enough money to retire, go to Zermatt, Switzerland, and pursue his first love, paraplaning off of the Matterhorn. He now has a business there where he takes clients flying all over the Alps, and he tells me he's never lost anyone so far, knock on wood. So again, you get to meet a lot of great people who, you make millions of dollars for people. They tend to really invite you to all kinds of really interesting places. Let me do the same thing for you. Let me make millions of dollars for you with the Mad Hedge AI service. Highly likely that you'll recover the entire cost of the service on your first trade. And by the way, once you subscribe, you're grandfathered at that price forever. We are likely to be raising prices before the next webinar in 2024. And yes, this is scary looking, but it didn't hurt that much. Fortunately, after studying judo in Japan for 10 years, I got really good at falling. And that came in handy here. So here is the offer we're giving you again today, 6 months for just $1,997. Let me show you how to make the money to pay for your own subscription. And you can go ahead and ask your questions now. I have a couple of minutes left until the next presenter. Okay, how does the AI service compare, contrast to the original global trading dispatch service, types of trade recommendations, and so on? The AI gets a completely different set of trade recommendations. They tend to be longer term, and they don't go out to the global trading dispatch, which is much more focused on front month trades, because that's what people are looking for. And suffice to say, the people who subscribe to the AI service, they tend to make a lot more money than the global trading dispatch service. And we have a lot of people who subscribe to both services. Let's see what else we have. Okay, here's another question. Is this for just stocks, or do you do other asset classes? We actually cover stocks, bonds, commodities, precious metals, real estate. One of our hottest AI recommendations this year was to buy Barrick Gold, which is already up 40% from our original cost. And of course, we did leaps on that. So that multiplies the potential return by tenfold. So, AI recommended, AI saw that gold was going to begin a sharp move up, but it recommended the world's largest gold miner because miners tend to outperform the underlying metal by a factor of 4 to 1. So yeah, completely different trade alerts, different service. And of course, you're also getting a different newsletter. Okay, I'm just going to check our store and see what we've got here so far. Okay, we have a bunch of orders. Wow. Yikes. Okay, we have a bunch of orders that have just come in, and we have one from Arthur from Frederick, Maryland. Arthur, thank you very much for your subscription. I promise to work hard for your money. Please check your inbox and make sure that you have the trade alert and execute it right now, because today's a good day to execute. If you can't find it in your inbox, look in your junk folder. If you're a brand new subscriber, that's sometimes where the trade alerts go.